Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This video really honestly is more for me than for you because of an experience that I had with some little ground squirrels that I found this summer. I found them in, I think, early July of 2024. And so bear with me, the video is probably going to be really longer than it should be, but like I said, this video is kind of more for me than for you, and I'm just kind of sharing my experience. So the little squirrels, when we actually first found them, their mother had been killed, and I think there was 5 of them to begin with. We couldn't catch one of them, and we found it a couple days later dead in the yard. And so I had 4 of these, and I was raising them, and I had them for probably almost 4 weeks, and they were so much fun. And one escaped when I had them out, in an open area in the yard, and I learned later that they feel really vulnerable when they're out and open. And so he had run off to a more secluded area, and so that was my fault. I learned from that mistake. And then later I made another mistake in that because these are ground squirrels and they like to dig, I had this huge box for them to play in during the day, and I attached another box with a paper towel tube into another box that was full of dirt so that they could practice digging and stuff like that. And that box was kind of deep, but I put a flap on the top and the dirt probably 8 inches below that so that I could kind of peek in there and see what they were up to. But the flap was closed so that they couldn't get out. Well, there were 3 remaining, and 2 of the ones that were remaining found their way out of that. And the 4th one, if you watch the video where we first discovered these little things, there was one little squirrel that was really weak and wobbly and kind of falling over on his side, and then he later on in the video he crawled up on my hand. Well, that's the one that was left, and I called him originally my bed baby because I could reach into the nest. I had piled up a whole bunch of dried grass for them to sleep in at night, and I could reach my hand in there and scoop all 4 of them up initially and hold them in my hand. They were that tiny. And the other 3 would kind of wake up and be looking around and want to get down and stuff. But that 4th one would just stay asleep in my hand. It was amazing. And often the other 3 would be out playing and stuff, and he would be in the bed asleep. And they would be out eating, and then later he would wake up and come out and do his eating and playing, and he seemed to be a little bit more open to connection with me right from the beginning. Well, when those other 2 escaped, I think this last little one and I kind of discovered it at the same time. So the poor little guy had lost his mom, and now he lost all of his siblings. And so my heart really went out to this little ground squirrel. Originally we thought that they were Richardson's ground squirrels, but as we did a little bit more research, we discovered they were actually Franklin's ground squirrels, and these only live up in the northern prairies, and they are actually extinct in some areas, endangered in others, and then there's local pockets where they seem to be plentiful. But nonetheless, they are in decline, and it's due to loss of habitat from these massive farms and destruction of prairie land, which is where they live. They like farmsteads where there's some grass that's low and some grasses that are higher. But anyway, I digress. So the poor little squirrel had lost everyone, and so he really bonded with me. And if he heard the door open and close and he wasn't with me, he liked to ride inside my shirt. He would get down around my waistline and just ride right down in front of my belly here, just stay there. And I'll show you some pictures in just a little bit, but we just really bonded. And it just touched my heart that this little critter wanted to be with me. I told Kaylin that I thought he had squirrel PTSD from losing his mother and all his siblings and being left alone. And so I'm going to show you the rest of the story in video form, lots of pictures and some video of kind of the process of us bonding. And I'll come back at the end and I'll tell you the end of the story. He's kind of leaning into the scratch. He's learning to dig his burrow. baby. I love you. I love you, Scooter. It didn't take long. Immediately went down in the hole. Bye, Scooter. I love you, baby. I love you, baby. Check it out, sweet pea. Check it out. He likes this new hole. He's been in the woods all day, but he came back to his box for eating. Let me hold him again. Baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You silly thing. You silly boy. Your tail's filling out and looking so pretty. Yes, that pretty tail. Look at that pretty tail. Yes, Mama go get you. Mama go get you. I go get you. I gotta get you. You're so fast. What you doing? Hey, baby. Baby. Sweet. He likes to nibble on my ear. Okay, so for the end of the story here, we found out that it was illegal to have these squirrels. It's actually illegal to have a pet squirrel of any kind in many states. And you may be familiar with the story of Peanut the squirrel in New York that was actually taken from this man and euthanized. So since we found out it was illegal, we thought, well, we'll try to release Scooter. And so you saw some video footage there of me putting him down in a box with what looked like a hole in the ground. We had actually dug a huge hole. My husband did. I kind of helped a little. He built a box with an actual tunnel on it, and we were trying to get Scooter used to sleeping outside, which he did. He was so happy when he discovered he had his own home, so to speak. But he would run down there, and then he would run out and look to see if I was still there. And so the first night that we let him spend the night in there was really hard for us. And I think it was hard for Scooter too, but he still liked it. The second night that we left him out there, whenever I took him out there, he seemed uneasy. And I thought, what's going on here? And so we discovered that the place that we had decided to try to release him, a soft release kind of, I had put the box around his opening just to kind of protect him from aerial predators and other critters and stuff, just to make him feel a little more secure initially. We would put food in there. That was a big mistake because that drew older Franklin's ground squirrels, and they ran him off. And so Scooter was lost in the woods for about 24 hours. And we would call him, and he would answer us, but he was too afraid to come out. And so the next day, we actually took our food into the woods, and a big piece of a box or something. We sat down on that, and we took like a little piece of corn on the cob, which was his absolute favorite, and some peanut butter that had a strong odor, stuff like that had a really strong odor. That would maybe encourage him to come out, because I knew he was hungry. And so we sat down in the woods and we called him, and he did come out. I had been bawling my eyes out for 24 hours, getting up at night, calling him. I couldn't sleep. Kaylin and I was just miserable because we knew he was out there. He would respond to us, but he was too afraid to come out. And so anyway, so he came out, we got to see him, and then the other bigger squirrels came, and he took off. And so, but he was very hungry, and he knew we had this corn on the cob. Well, we had bought a trap, and we put that corn on the cob in the trap, and Scooter came out again, and he was desperately trying to get to that corn on the cob, but he was on the wrong end. He wouldn't go around and go into the trap. He was down there on the opposite end by the corn. And I was probably maybe 5 or 6 feet from him, and I was talking to him, and all these other Franklins, I think there was only 2 of the other adult Franklin squirrels around, and Scooter sat there and he looked at me, and I was talking to him, and I said, "Let Mama get you, baby, let Mama get you." And he sat right there and let me grab him, and I just held him tight, took him back into the RV where we were living, and he was really nervous for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and then when he realized that he was back with us, he was so funny. He was just elated, running around and running down in my shirt, coming back up, and he liked to come up out of my shirt, nibble on this ear, nibble on this ear, nibble on my neck. He was grooming me. Excuse me. So I was elated. But again, we knew it was illegal to have him, and it was getting late in the season. They have to store a food cache underground, and so what to do? So I contacted an undisclosed wildlife rehabber, and she warned me, she said, "Do not post anything about him." So I didn't, I had learned that from before. And so we had to release Scooter to this undisclosed wildlife person. And I cried for days before that because I was so bonded with this little guy, and he was bonded with me. I was Mama. And I felt like I was betraying him a little bit. I kind of like to think that maybe in heaven the Lord will allow us to have back some of our little pets that we've loved so much. I'm sorry for the glare of the sun, but I'm trying to be in the best place possible for this right now. So anyway, Scooter is hibernating in an undisclosed location, and he will be released in the spring, prayerfully to put his genetics into a whole new group, a whole new family of Franklin's ground squirrels, and I'm told that the area he will be released in has no hunting, and there's a lot of beauty around that area, and I will not disclose where that's going to be. I actually don't know exactly, but I have a general idea. But at any rate, I share that story, as I said, mostly for me, but also because I can relate this a lot to spiritual things, because there are children that the Lord has that He's going to have to give up, because it's their choice, because they don't believe Him or whatever. And it was very difficult for me to give up this little squirrel. Very difficult. It's still hard. In fact, I have a little stuffed squirrel that's my little substitute, my little Scooter. So anyway, maybe the Lord will let me see Scooter, or a newly born Scooter in the future. I don't know, but what I'm praying more than anything is that Lord will give me the kind of love for His children as I had for Scooter. The kind of love that weeps because it has to let go. The kind of love that doesn't want to let go. So hopefully this lesson will also help us to understand how difficult it is, what a strange work it will be for the Lord to let any of us go because of our choice. We'll see you next time.